Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio. Joined today with
Joined
P
together.
over there, Miss J, and
Jai.
V over here, Mr. Rasa. Welcome to Juice Worms, where we talk whatever we want to talk about, whatever interests us, because any news to us is juicy. Juicy.
Today we're going to be talking about comedy. It's like a broad topic more so. We don't have like a specific about it, but you know, what kind of humor are we into?
I tend to have a hard time with this topic because I think a lot of things are funny. Like, I think it's really easy for me to find the humor in a lot of things. I catch myself laughing at things that other people don't want to laugh about. You shouldn't invite me to a funeral. I know that sometimes areas like that, like certain places, fine, like there's an appropriate social whatever rule that we can deal with, which I'm aware of. But sometimes I get bored and I also want to subvert that rule because I think it's also pointless. Like if you're playing Josh Groban's You Raise Me Up.
I'm thinking of the egg from last episode.
Exactly. You raise me up. I mean, a big part of my humor, personally, whenever I'm alone and then I don't have to deal with other people's weird feelings, is roasting. I love a good roast. Like a good go home, like go big or go home type of humor. I'm all about it. And I feel like people know that about me now. Like they have this tendency to have that stabby humor at some point. I mean, you know me in the DMs as like being that kind of person that
Fun.
will say something every now and then.
It's fun. I like it.
What do you think is the key to a good joke?
Timing. Like the rest is whatever, but the timing is so imperative. People who can't get the timing down, I like don't know if I should laugh or not because I'm like that could have been funny, but you missed the timing. If you can't do like the comedic pauses and you can't hit the line right when you need to, some things are funny because you said them so fast.
Even your facial thing, like it's almost like acting. Like you really have to deliver it right.
I think like you just are very entertained by yourself, so it's like harder for you to
That is
like
true.
yeah, because a lot of times like we're talking, let's say, and like you laugh a lot in our videos, but a lot of times you're laughing at something you either said or something that you're thinking.
Yeah. No, it's even funnier when I look back and I watch the video again. I'm like, oh, I'm a terrible human being. Like I was like, I look back, I was like, oh, you really are stupid, huh?
Untrue, but it's funny. I don't really listen to a lot of comedy or whatever, but like I liked Gabriel Iglesias, but he was like very
I
big
love the
one.
sound effects.
Love me. He was
Everything.
so good at like making like in his story, like he's so good at mimicking voices and just like yeah, his sound effects, his car things, like he was just really good at it.
I subscribe to this thing called like live comedy Zoom, where apparently you join this Zoom show where like they have a lineup maybe 5 comedians. We don't know any of them. At least I personally don't know any of them. And you just sit there and see if you'll laugh or not. So you get to sit there and then then the thing is they expect you to what's funny because they expect you to mute so that you can, laugh. But then they also expect you to unmute because comedians react favorably if you laugh at the joke, which I feel like is such an obvious
So you
thing,
stay
but-
muted until you're laughing and you push to talk.
Well, I stay muted for the sake because I'm busy doing stuff while I'm listening.
Mhm.
But there's like at least like good regulars who just stay unmuted the entire time.
That's so cool though.
just
It's
to
like a
laugh.
comedy show but over Zoom. That's
Over Zoom.
actually so cool. Like I mean it sucks that it's online.
That's actually majority. Like when I went the first time, the majority of the jokes that I got to listen to was always like, "So guys, we suck. Today's COVID, so let's talk about it." So anybody want to
Like,
pass the speaking
yeah,
mic? Like
a lot of comedy is like really good because it's like let's deadpan say the thing that no one really wants to talk about, or let's just like say it how it is. Like a lot of good comedy also is just like just deadpan acknowledgement of what's happening.
well, there's a lot of different humors, right? And
Mhm.
I'm also really keen on a comedian who starts off a sentence with something that seems like it's going to go good,
And then,
and then they flip it over.
I think it's so cool though for like comedy because like I mean some people don't, but like you have to write your own jokes, and I just think that's really cool because it's like it's kind of like spoken word poetry. You know what I mean, like you got to write it and then you got to perform
And
it.
relatable. Somehow
Yeah.
you have to keep it within the
Yeah.
realm that your
And
audience
you
is
have
gonna
to know
get
your
it.
audience because it's for the audience, not
Oh
you.
gosh, that part is. I think that's the one that if I ever overthink anything, it would be during a comedy, and it's so stressful. I don't know if I could. Maybe acting where it's scripted feels.
Yeah,
better for me.
I feel like on one
Just
hand,
let me do this. Let me be crazy, and then that's how we're gonna roll with it.
I mean, okay, let's on one hand, like you'd be good at improv stuff because NE, but on the other hand, I don't know if you could do improv comedy. So I think you'd be really good at improv of other stuff, and then you'd be good at comedy if it was
Exactly.
all like pre-planned.
Because improv comedy is hilarious to watch. Like whose line
Yeah.
is it anyway? die every time. But then there's that thing where you have to be in the moment, like
Yeah.
thinking, and I can't. It's hard. I think it's a skill. Like you have to train yourself to like.
I agree. Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of research to see if I could, but it's still hard.
Yeah. So for example, New Girl, a lot of scenes, like they're all in every single episode. There's like scenes of them arguing, right? All of them arguing. They start arguing about something, and then they start arguing about something else, and that's the whole comedy, right? They start
Yeah.
arguing about something else during the argument that literally doesn't matter at all. Like, you know, they'll be arguing about like who gets the parking spot, for example. I don't remember that specific episode of what happened there. And then while they're talking, they'll just be like, well, I mean, like, it doesn't matter because you didn't put your cup away. And they start arguing about the cup, you know? I'm like, I think that makes it funny. I think
mean,
it's a little
reminds
overdone
me-
in that show. I love that show to death.
Have
But
you
like,
watched Happy Endings? Have you heard of that one?
I've
You
heard of
should
it. I have not
watch.
watched it though.
Because that one's also similar in how weird it is. Because they go, the premise is a bunch of friends get together after two of their friends in that circle. One left during the wedding. It was the bride. She couldn't marry him, and then it's just the life afterwards.
She just couldn't marry him.
She looked at him. She goes no, and then she ran after this guy on roller skates, which also coincidentally didn't work out too. So she's just single, and then the whole series revolves around should they get back together with the original one. It was great.
I'll look it up.
Showed up on roller skates. I love you, and she's like, looks at the guy. I can't do this. Runs after him, but then doesn't go with him anyway. She just goes somewhere else.
That's actually funny. I see. Yeah. So there's just like so many different realms of comedy and stuff. I just think that
Like even how about the big brain comedy? Like things that actually require you to be observant, like the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And so Robert Downey Jr. is taking a leak in the bathroom, and then he looks to his left and he found out there was a dead body in the bathtub, and he accidentally turns his whole body and he ends up pissing over the body. And now he and Val Kilmer have to figure out how to deal with this because now his DNA is all over it.
Wait, that sounds so funny. I actually never watched it. Already.
You should, because it's one of those moments where you're like, wait, what?
and then it's like
up.
it's like a really dumb premise to a movie. I love it.
And like the entire time it's just them trying to figure out how they're gonna evade the cops with the fact that he actually is innocent. It's just a really bad day. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Look up everything we've talked about because they're funny. Well, let's pass it over to the audience. What humor do you like to laugh at? Or with?
We didn't talk about dark humor, but we're not going to cover that in this episode.
Situational dark humor is also interesting because then you actually have to really think about how dumb the entire thing is. By the way, do you find out this is hilarious? Like we're talking about, like I have fishes going on, and we're talking about like dark humor. It doesn't match.
JUICEWORMS.
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah, we'll see you guys on our next episode.
stay juicy.
Stay juicy. Stay wormy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, I'd rather stay juicy if that's how we're gonna do it.
I don't know, man. Anyway, bye.
Okay.